Hello, welcome. So in this video, we are just going to learn how to use Shadcn UI like a pro. So I just want to show you what we are going to build at the end of this video. We are not only building, but we are learning a tons of concepts. There are top 6 concepts that we are going to learn from Shadcn. And the first one is, for instance, the typography. So most people, they have never used the typography, and you're going to look at how to use it. Typography is, for instance, how you can use to create like these bold headings, these nice headings right out of the box. You don't need to style anything. They have them styled. And that is the first concept, and it falls in the category of simple concepts. The second one is implementing dark mode. So as you can see in this, we have the dark mode implemented onto this. Okay, we have dark mode, light mode, and the system all being implemented. I'm going to show you how to use Shadcn to implement dark mode, and this also falls into this simple Shadcn concepts. And the third concept is going to be Shadcn components, and you're going to look at some, of course, advanced concepts, but we're just going to learn how to use components. And this is, I think, what people have been using all over the place and all over internet. They have been showing you how to use the Shadcn components, but today we are going beyond just components. And we are going to see how to use simple components like dialog, and even seeing how to know the components interdependent on each other. Most of the components, they depend on each other, and we'll also discuss about that. And we'll see how to add the components in your app, the Shadcn components, which is an easy thing. That's why it also belongs in this simple concept. Okay, so we have the 3 simple concepts that we're going to cover right away. And then we have the fourth concept, which is the Shadcn blocks. And this is a new one. Shadcn blocks, they are new and they have just been released. We are going to see how to implement Shadcn blocks, and we'll use this to build an amazing dashboard. Okay, so we'll use this to build this. Actually, it's just going to be done in just a minute. Okay, so you're going to see how to implement this nice dashboard, and this is actually responsive out of the box. Look at this. This is responsive, guys. You know how hard to build this is, but we're going to look at this in just a minute. Okay, this is so crazy and so nice. Okay, we are going to look at that, how to implement the dashboard using the new Shadcn blocks, and this one falls under the medium concepts. Then we shall go ahead and look at Shadcn examples, how to use the Shadcn examples, and this falls under advanced. We are going to look at this advanced concept. For instance, we use that advanced concept to build this mail. Okay, let me just show you this mail. Look at this. We are building entirely this whole email dashboard from the Shadcn, and you will not find this anywhere. Okay, I'm showing how to get this from the examples, and of course you know how we do it, how we build it. Okay, you'll see how to implement this one. Okay, you're going to implement this, and you will see how to do this from the examples, and you will learn tons of concepts, a lot of things they have to implement this, and we learn all those ones. And of course, now the last concept is actually Shadcn native components, and also this one falls under the advanced concepts. Okay, so in this Shadcn concepts, we are going to use this, and you might just not understanding what Shadcn UI native components. So these are the components that Shadcn used that are neither in their examples nor in their components, but we can discover them from their UI or from their documentation. For instance, the navbar. So this navbar is not going to be found anywhere. You will not find this navbar being used as an example or being used uh, as a component exposed, but I'm going to show you how to create this navbar. And this navbar, by the way, is responsive. Okay, look at this navbar is responsive, and this command, it is working. Okay, this is working, and we are going to see how to implement this. Okay, we'll see how to implement this, and in this very example in the side UI native components, we'll also go ahead and actually build another awesome hero section. You can see this hero section we built also from the Shadcn. This is not used as neither a example nor as a component, but actually we just built it from their UI. Okay, we're just going to see how to implement those one, and they all fall into the advanced concepts. So at the end of this video, you're going just to learn a lot and a lot of concepts. So if you're happy and you want to dive in with me, let's go. Hello, welcome. So in today's video, we are going to look at how to use Shadcn UI like a pro. So at this point in time, if you have been using Next.js and Shadcn, at least you must have come across Shadcn and you must have tried to use it in your project. And at least in most of the projects you have done on this channel, we have been using Shadcn. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to cover about 6 concepts about Shadcn, and I bet in these 6 concepts, you must have used only 1 or 2. Okay, so most of the people just go to Shad to use their components. Okay, and from a developer perspective, I think Shad is beyond just components. Okay, you can learn and you can use just beyond components. And today's video, we are going to cover those things that are actually beyond the simple components. Okay, so you can look at these concepts. You're going to look at typography, dark mode, components, blocks, examples, and even native components. Okay, so the first thing is just simply setup. I have a Next.js project, a Next.js 14 project with Tailwind, and I think you can just simply do that by running npx create next app at latest. And then the second thing I did, I just went ahead and installed Shad. So you can just simply go to Shad, and you go to installation. That is the first thing you need to do. Choose Next.js and then scroll down to where we have installation. So if you already have a Next.js project installed, then the second thing is installing Shad. And now I'm just going to first give you a first tip. So the first tip is install Shad when you install your new project. So before adding in so many other things in your project, just first install Shad so that you actually start using it right away from the beginning. Okay. So after you have successfully installed this, these days it is very easy. If you're using TypeScript, simply install npx Shadcn UI at latest in it, and then just they will ask you about 1 or 2 questions, and then after that you will just simply have it installed, and that is only one command, and answering 2 questions will make you install Shad in your project. You can just go ahead in package.json, you will see that at least I have Shad. Okay, if you just scroll down here, you can just see it has all these dependencies, the animate and other things. Okay, great. So let's first dive in the first concept. Okay, so the simplest way actually to use is to use Shadcn typography. So most people rush to actually going to components because they're the ones directly forward onto their front. So just go here and go to components. So before going to components, actually, you might just find something interesting looking at their typography. So for instance, in typography, if you want to look at how to use this board, have you ever wondered if you wrote your only H1? I'm just going to open here a page. So let me just go down here and let's just have open a new page. I'm just going to call it concepts. Okay, concepts. And then inside concepts, I'm just going to create page.tsx rfc, and then they just go ahead and say maybe h1. I'm just going to say Shadcn concepts. Okay, Shadcn concepts, something like this. Now let me just first go to the layout, and I'm just going to add some little padding to the children so that we don't have to overstyle all the time. So I'm just going to go ahead and say dot px of 8 and dot py of maybe 8 or so, and then put the children here. So this should help us and put some. So just go to concept slash concepts. Okay, so this is your h1. So look at this h1 we have written here. Just go to concepts. So this is the h1 we have. So using Shadcn, you can actually get nice typography from Shad, and the good example is the one I've just used here on my all these concepts I've used here on this page, the home page. So if you just go to Shad and you click on this typography, so you can just look at, they have all types of typography you might need to use on your page. For instance, I like this bold headings. So you can just go ahead actually look at how they did these bold headings and how they have these normal paragraphs, the underlined headings, for instance. Okay, I can just go ahead and click and go to code, and you can see this is their H1. Okay, so I can just come here and I say copy this. Okay, and I can just go ahead and replace it with this. So I put this, and now I'm just going to cut this and put Shadcn concepts. Now let me remove the original one. Now if I just go back to concepts, let me just go duplicate this. And now let me just go to slash concepts. Look at this, very clean, guys. Look at this. And this is responsive. Okay, so you don't have actually to struggle. You look at this. This is already responsive. Okay, they just give you a responsive, and already you have responsive typography out of the box. And you know how hard this maintaining the font sizes, you have to write all that, but they have actually done this for almost all typography. The H1s, H2s, you can look at the H2s. Look at this. If you just go here, I have a nice H2. Just copy this and go and paste it down here. Now let's go and see this. They have it having even the underline. So for instance, I can just have this heading tools right away working properly with this. Okay, and this is not only for this for h2s, you have the paragraphs. Okay, can click on paragraphs. They have very nice paragraphs with nice leading line height and everything. They have the block quotes. they have the tables. Of course, you know the table, they have a component for the table, but here they show you the table just in simple terms. They have lists, inline code, they have muted text, and so on and so forth. So you can just take advantage of this. Okay, you can take advantage of this typography. And to take advantage, what I mean, for instance, instead of just like writing like this, I can just go ahead and create a h1. So I can just go ahead and create a component. So under components, I'm just going to create a new file. Okay, I'm just going to create a new file, and I just say, for instance, board heading dot tsx, just like this. And let me go to my concepts, copy this h1, and I'm just going to say rfc, and then here I'm just going to say return this, and of course I'm just going to pass this as a title. Okay, or you could just say pass it as the heading itself, and you can just go here and say heading is going to be a string. Okay, and instead of just putting this, let's go ahead and put the heading. Now we can go back to the concepts where we have this. We can just go ahead and come and put the board heading, and I can just go ahead and pass in the heading, just like this. Now I have this, I can reuse this anywhere I want. For instance, I can go to my home page, copy this. So like on the page, I already have this as a h1, the same exact one. So just simply just put board heading, import this, and just simply cut this. Now let me just add it here. Okay, and this is the one. So now I have my board headings even on this, but this is now a component. I can reuse it, and I can do the same for the, for instance, section headings, and I can customize this to my needs, and I will have a consistent UI. So that is the first pro tip, or the Shadcn pro tip using the typography. The second one is implementing dark mode. So implementing dark mode, I know if you just go to, there are so many documentations showing how to use dark mode. And I have a separate video on this channel showing you how to use dark mode using Next themes. But Shadcn actually put together a nice documentation for how to implement dark mode using their docs. So if you just go to Shadcn and you click on dark mode and you choose Next.js, now they give you a step-by-step instruction on how to implement dark mode. Okay, and I think it is one of the most neat documentations on how to install dark mode. So the first step here, they tell you to install Next themes. I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So just go here. Now let me just open a new terminal, and I'm just going to go ahead and install Next themes. Okay, then the second one is creating a provider. So they say in components, create theme provider.tsx and add this one. So I will first create this theme provider.tsx. So in components, simply click on new file and theme provider.tsx. Then inside it, just simply add this code. Okay, and this is creating the provider. So in this, I'm adding just like this, use client, and then we have our theme provider. Next is wrap your route layout. So just go ahead. You can see in your layout, the first thing is to import the provider. Control C, Okay, and just go to your layout, and then in the layout on top here, you can just go ahead and import that. So I'm just going to import it here. And then next, add this theme provider inside the body. And you see they're wrapping it around the children. So I'm just going to copy this theme provider inside the body. So go back to the layout, and inside the layout, let me drop this a little bit down. So inside this, you have the children. So what is children? I'm just going to replace it with the theme provider. Just like this. And don't forget to add the suppress warning on the HTML. So just copy this and go to this HTML and add this suppress hydration warning. And this one is for suppressing the hydration error. You know, after implementing dark mode, the first problem you face is this hydration because of adding the dark class onto this HTML, and you can suppress it by putting suppress hydration warning onto your HTML. Okay, and they have this theme provider with the attribute, and the default is the system. So after adding that, next, go down is to add the toggle. The one is going to be helping you to go from to the dark mode, light mode, and the system mode. So if you look at the mode toggle, let's look at the code. So the first thing is you see that they created a component. So if you just scroll down, you see they created a component called mode, mode toggle. I'm just going to go ahead and also create this component. So just going to copy this. I go to components and just create mode toggle. So I'm just going to say mode toggle, just like this, .tsx, and inside paste this. Okay. So after pasting this, you realize we have some red lines. Okay. So the first red line is installing some components. Okay. So there are some things we already have, for instance, Next themes, and we already have also Lucid React. And this time they changed it. They have been using Radix for this, but now they're using Lucid, which is nice because I think they install right away when you install Shad, they go ahead and install Lucid React. So now we have to install two components. The first one is the button component and also the drop down component. Only these two components are the ones we need to install. Okay. And just simply go ahead and install these two components, and you just go back to any of these components. If you want to see how clear to install this, you scroll to maybe the button component, and when you scroll down, you will see the installation part here, and you can just go ahead and copy this. Okay, so it is npx Shadcn UI latest, and then add button. So this time we need two things. We need the button component and the drop down menu. So on this, I'm just going to say npx, and I think it is Shadcn UI. Okay, so Shadcn that's UI at latest, and then go ahead and add button, and you can put space, you put drop down menu, drop down menu, just like this. And we can just say confirm one more time is npx Shadcn UI at latest, and then add. So just go ahead and add these two components. So you can add even more components just in one single line by simply spacing them like this. Okay, so it's going to go ahead and add these two components. Okay, so going back to our dark mode, so just scroll down here, going back to the dark mode. Okay, I think we're on the last, second last. So we have done all these other steps. We have wrapped the layout. We have added the model. Now it is now the last step after this is actually to use this. Okay, so after creating it, we can just actually use it. So now we have everything looking great. So now it is to use this. So if you want to see how to use this, we can just go ahead and create a nav bar, for instance. So just going to go ahead and create nav bar.tsx, tsx, and let's just go ahead and put like maybe rfc. And then in this, I'm just going to add a simple thing. For instance, class name. I'm just going to go ahead and add flex, max width of maybe 5 pixel, mx auto, and let's add some border, bottom, and border, I think gray 200. And you can just go ahead and also, for instance, in the dark, let's just say maybe, let's just leave it like that for now. And here just add, for instance, a link. Okay, from next link, and this can be your logo. Add href hashtag here, and then down here let's add the model. So just say mod toggle, just like this. Let's go ahead and see this in action. So you can see by default we haven't used this navbar. Let me just go ahead and use this navbar in the layout. So in the layout, just go on top of the children, and let's just add the navbar just like this. And the navbar, let's give it somehow the padding. I didn't give it any padding. Let's go ahead and give it like padding y of 4 and px of maybe 8. Okay, so when you just add this, you come back, you see we have the navbar. Okay, and you can see that let me just go ahead and also add this one. Let me just add it 200, and in the dark mode, for instance, dark, let's just say border gray, just say 700. Okay, and we could just leave the max width for now. We just use only the padding. Okay, just like that. Okay, and they just add some margin bottom also, margin bottom of 8. Okay, so we have this now. Oh, the link I put here was from Lucid. Sorry, I just want from link. Let me just first remove this from, I need link from next link. Okay, just like this, and they just say justify between, and you can also say items center. Okay, so we just have this as our navbar, and you can just see here we have the dark mode. By default, my system is using dark mode. That's why you see by default it was going to dark mode. So if I just go to light mode, we have the light mode. If I just go to dark, you go to dark, and this is really nice. Okay, so this is how easy you can implement dark mode, and you can see this is under the dark mode, Shadcn typography, dark mode, and components. They all under for the simple category. So like this is the simple part of using Shadcn, and you see already we are having amazing UI out of the box. are using Shad already. Okay, so let's go ahead and also see the components. So in the components, we have already seen actually how to install some components when we added the button component plus the drop down component. Okay, so we have already seen the installation. The only thing I want to show you is that we're using components. Some components, they are based on other components. Let's say we want to add this dialog, this alert dialog. So if you click on it, alert dialog, when you click it, you see you have this nice pop-up which you can use for anything really. You can use it for forms and many other use cases. Now, this is looking great, but when you go to install it, actually, so you see they say run this, okay, npx Shadcn UI at just like this. Let's just go ahead and install this, for example. So you can just copy npm one and just go down here, just like this. So here you just add the alert dialog. But when you actually just look at this, by the way, there are two things. When you just see on the demo they give you, so there is this demo they give you, the one they give you, the preview plus the code. This one is always different from when you go to usage. So when you go to usage after installation, they give you another one that is not actually the one they implemented in the above example. So keep in mind that when you want to get exactly the way it looks on this, just use the code they gave you here. Okay, so after we have installed this, we're just going to go ahead and use this. So just copy this, okay, and maybe I just want to go ahead and use this in my page, like in this page in the concepts. So when I copy this code right away, just like this, and I go to my concepts, and of course be careful before you paste. If you look at this, it is divided into the imports plus these other ones. Okay, so it is good that most of these components you get from Shad, you actually create for them another component. Okay, so this is the usage of how I'm supposed to import to put the code. So if I just copy this, just go ahead and create this component in your components. So just come here and you see, for instance, Shad. I can just say this is Shad model, or maybe dialog, whatever. Just want to call it model dot tsx and paste this. Okay, and I can just also change this to Shad model. Okay, and you have this, and what I wanted to show you is that, for instance, when you install a component, you may find it has, or it is depending on other components. For instance, you say this one is dependent on the button. Okay, so you might just need to install extra components when you're installing one component. So by default, they will just be using alert dialog, but you may find alert dialog is using extra components from Shad. So be or take care of that. Okay, just be aware that some components use one or more components are within Shad. Okay, and this is, if you just go to other components, you will see that is the case. If, for instance, you go to the form here, you will see that it is using more dependencies. Okay, so when you just go to use it, you will find they're telling you to use more dependencies that you might just need to use. Okay, yeah, so for instance, here you can see using the form, they have more dependencies like Zod and many other things to use. Okay, we're just going to reach that point of using, for instance, the form. Okay, so that is what I can just show you. Of course, after creating this, we can just go ahead and use this shadow model. Just go here in these concepts, and down here, let's go say py of 8, and then inside there we can just add this model just like this. And if you just go back on the UI, you have the dialog working really nicely. And the good thing with most of their components, they come when their dark mode support, which is really nice. And this is make sure that you just actually build things out of the box having dark mode supported. Okay, so I like their components, very sleek, and you're just going to see how you can also build on top of them. Okay, so nice. We have now about three concepts, the components. Okay, so there is one more tip you can use. For instance, the components, some components really need you to be clever on usage. Okay, and one of them is the form. Okay, one of them is the form. You need to follow a step-by-step instructions as they have in their documentation. Really, their documentation is really nice. For instance, when you go to forms, they tell you they're using React Hook form for validation and Zod. So that means you say here forms are tricky. They are one of the most common things you will build in a web application, but also one of the most complex. And this is true. Forms are really complex, and they try to handle it really in a correct way using React Hook forms plus Zod for validation. And that means you have to follow a step by step. They tell you what they're using. For instance, the form component is wrapped around the React Hook form library and provides a few things. One, a composable components for building forms. For instance, a form field component for building controlled form fields, a form validation with Zod, and other things. So there are some components, for instance, the form, the table, pagination, navigation, that actually need you to read a step-by-step instruction to implement them. Most people actually, they don't like reading, which I find really, most developers reading documentation is one thing that you need to have right. Okay, just take your time and read documentation. Most of the things they are there, but most people don't actually see them. Simply they don't read. So for instance, this one, they give you a step by step, and they went ahead and used a lot of examples. For instance, if you click on examples, they have a lot of examples using different things. For instance, using combo box, text area, switch, select, radio, input, date picker, and checkbox. Now, I will just also create another video about chat, and this is customizing the form fields. And if you're just happy about that component, by the way, during that video, just also comment in the comment section. Let me know if you want to see this video of customizing form components, shared form components. I might just make this video after this one. Okay, so let's just move to the next concept. Okay, so we have seen so far three concepts using typography, dark mode, components, and now the next one is using Shadcn blocks. So to you, if you are not aware right now, Shadcn made a new announcement a few days ago where they introduced um, a new concept called Shadcn blocks. And Shadcn blocks, they are having different pages done for you. Okay, so if you now go to Shadcn, they have added one on their navigation. They have now Shadcn blocks. So when you go ahead and click on blocks, you will see building blocks for the web, beautiful designed, copy and paste into your app, and it is open source. Okay, so I find this and I put this in the category of medium. If you just look here, you'll see that I have this in the category of median. It is not so much complex. Okay, if you think about it, they give you, for instance, um, a a dashboard. Okay, most people have been requesting this. It has been one of the most requested from Shadcn, and finally they brought components where they have built different components for you, and you simply plug them in your project and right away they start working. Okay, so you can see, for instance, they have dashboard, and I think this dashboard, the vertical dashboard, it was the one most requested, and finally they have it in here. Okay, so how to use it? They are straightforward. You have the preview plus the code. You have the code and you have the preview. You simply go ahead, copy the code, paste it in your component, done. So let's just see how you can use this. So to use this and to see its power, let's go ahead and create a layout. So you know how we have been creating layouts. I can have the two layouts in the app. Let me just go ahead and create a new layout. So I'm just going to create two groups, the front group. So just say put bracket, create the front, just like so. And then just go ahead and create another group. So create another group, which is going to be, for instance, the admin, maybe, I don't know, just like this. So we have two groups. Therefore, we have to going to have two layouts. So I'm just going to copy, create, go to the front group and create, for instance, a new layout .tsx, just like this. Okay, and just do RFC. Just turn this into a capital layout. Put children. This one takes in the children, and you can also annotate children to be from React Node. So just say children, just like this. This is going to be a React node, for instance. Okay, and then inside here, we can quickly put children. As simple as this. Okay, this is creating the layout, and we're just going to do the same for the admin. Simply copy this and go to the admin. In fact, just simply copy this whole layout, file, click on the admin, right click and paste. Okay, so in the admin, we have the layout, and in the front, we have the layout, and then in the app, we also have another layout. So this was for the front, this nav bar. Just going to cut this nav bar, take it to the front. So on top of the children, just like this, add the nav bar, and don't forget to import it. And also this, go back to this layout. We had put this px and y8. Just simply actually remove that. We just don't want any more styles on this global one. So this one acts as a global, just cut this. So this one acts as a global layout that is going to work throughout the entire project. And then we have the front layout, which we can actually add these ones. I think we just don't need any redundancy. Just cut this class name and let's add it on this one. Just this one. What am I doing? Just on this one, remove this. Okay. So let me add some charge a second. Okay. Okay, so now I have right now the admin layout, I have the front layout, and I have the group layout. So I have three layouts right now. This group layout is to work on the entire project, and just simply put the providers in this layout. Then in the front layout is where you can add things that are very custom to the front pages, for instance, navbar, footer, and other things. Then in the admin, you can also put things like that. So for instance, in the front, let's go ahead and drop this page. Now this page, you can easily drop it in the front because it is a front end page. And then in the admin, we can just go ahead and create a new folder. Maybe we call it dashboard. Dashboard. And inside dashboard, we can just go ahead and create a new file, page.tsx. So this is where actually we are going to have our dashboard live. So here, RFC, okay, and I can just have their dashboard, okay, just like this. Now, when you visit this page, you will see that it is using a different layout. So if you just go back, nothing should change. As you can see, did we import the navbar? So because this is front end is clearly, oh, so you have to move this front end, the concepts, let's move it into the front to use the front layout. Okay, so when you do that, now if you go back, you see it is using the front layout. If we just go back and we visit dashboard, okay, I'm just going to visit dashboard just like this, and you see dashboard is using its own layout, which is a nice thing. And now let's go ahead and use the blocks. Okay, so these adjacent blocks, as we said, it is as easy as you see it here. One thing you have to know is that it is simply a combination of different Shadcn components to make this component. So now if you just go to code, simply just copy this code here and go and create a, instead of pasting it here in the dashboard, remind that just create a component just in case the dashboard you want to keep it a server component. So what I just normally do, you can just simply come here and you say dashboard. So inside here, I can create dashboard dot tsx, and then I can just go ahead and paste everything I've got from up there. So now when you scroll up, you must have the yellow lines or the red lines. So these red lines, it shows that it is dependent on some other components. Okay, so for instance, they want us to install the badge. Okay, we have the badge component and the card component and the input component and the sheet component. So you can see it is dependent on so many things. Okay, so just go ahead and install these components that it is dependent on. Just go down here and let's bring back our last command, which was adding the dialog. I'm just going to remove the dialog and let's add the badge. Okay, just like this. So the first one is badge. The second one is card. So put space, put card. And then the last one is, so we have input and sheet. So just go and say space, input and space sheet. Okay, just like this. And let's go ahead and enter. Okay, just go ahead and enter. And it is installing all these inputs. They just give it a small time and it's going to be done. As simple as that, it is done. Now we can just go ahead and use our dashboard. And I just want to say export default. So you just say export default component dashboard. Just copy this and let's go to our dashboard. You can just go to dashboard page, and instead of returning this, let me just go inside here and say return dashboard. Just like this. Okay, now let's go ahead and go back here in the dashboard and boom, we have it exactly the way it is. Okay, look at this. We have dark mode implemented. Look at this, guys. Okay, you have this looking amazing. Okay, looking amazing. You have this working. You have these icons working out of the box. You have all this looking amazing, and this is actually responsive. Okay, this is actually responsive. Now we have what we'll be using in all our projects. You know how hard to actually make a dashboard look nice and responsive on different screens, not only solved out of the box. Okay, so great. And in the future, I'm just going to make a video of actually going even beyond this, customizing these dashboards in different ways to look really amazing. Okay. Okay, moving on. That's why I actually put this under the medium. You can see it is really easy to implement this. Okay, you can just go ahead and try with other components. I'm just going to just only use that block, but they gave you dashboard 3 versions, in fact 4 versions of the dashboard, and they gave you authentication for the login, for the I think sign up, okay, and they gave you 4 versions of the authentication, and more components are about to come. Okay, so clearly chat is a really changing tool for the web, how we build the web, more especially for the Next.js developers. They take away this daunting UI, and then we concentrate on the most important concepts, like adding the backend to the app. Okay, so next now is going to the next concept, which is the Shadcn examples. So we have seen now so far 4 nice concepts up to this point. Now we go to the 5th concept, which is looking at Shadcn examples. And you see, I put this one in advanced. Okay. So Shadcn examples, if you just go to their page, you see they have examples. Okay, they have here examples, and in these examples you can see they have a lot of concepts here. For instance, they had already given us one dashboard. I think most people, they had not seen that, but they had already provided one example, which is actually I like, because it has this it has these charts. It has these charts, and it has this nice calendar and all sorts of that. So it has this dashboard, it has cards. For instance, if you want to get any card here, they have these cards and you can use them. So the question is, how do I use these cards? That is the most important question. How do I use these cards? Okay, so just going to look at how we can use these cards, these examples. So any example you see here, you can actually use it in your project. Okay, so I would maybe go ahead and get a simple one. For instance, this one of these cards maybe would be somehow maybe easy to implement, or we could even go for the dashboard, or even getting this complicated mail. Okay, if you look at this is the mail, and you can build the whole entire now email. They have given you the whole entire UI for free, and you can get this UI from here. So how would you actually put this? Okay, how would you get this from this Shadcn examples? Okay, how would you get this into your examples? So we have the mail. I think I should put either mail or dashboard, because this launch is really looking really complicated. I should put one of them. Maybe we should put like maybe mail, because the mail looks really complicated. We can just like actually put that one. So how would you extract this from the docs? Because this one is not a block. If it was a block, the way you see the block is very easy. You go here, copy the code and move on. But for the examples, you actually have to go to GitHub. Okay. So for instance, I want you to mark that we want the mail component, or this mail is what we want to add in our project. Okay, now how do we add this example in our project? So what you just need to do is to head to their GitHub. Okay, so here in the nav, you see they have GitHub. So right click on this in the new tab. Let's go to GitHub. So this is the Shadcn UI, and I want to remind you one more time that actually Shadcn is open source, meaning all the code they use on their documentation is open source and you have access to it. So having now onto the Shadcn, I'm just going to enter inside the code. That's why I put this in the advanced, because this is actually diving into the Shadcn, not the docs, but Shadcn GitHub repo inside it, and going to go ahead and move around, see how we can get that component. So when you go here, you can see that the whole code is seated inside the app stroke ww. So when you open this, you have a lot of folders. Okay, so they just not get overwhelmed. Just go to app here because we know the app, and you can see they have right away this. They have this layout for the whole entire app, and then they have this group of app. If you go inside, you can see you have these headings, the blocks, docs, examples, sync, themes, and these are the Shadcn things they have here. Docs, component, themes, examples, blocks, GitHub, and these are the things you see here. So we are interested in examples. So just click on examples, and inside examples, you will see that these things you see here are exactly the ones on examples. So when you scroll down, we have mail, dashboard, cards, tasks, playground, and these ones are the ones you see here: authentication, cards, dashboard, forms, and mail. So we are interested in mail. So go ahead, go into mail, and you can see that in the mail, it is composed of its components plus this whole thing. Okay, so you could just also go ahead and we do this, create a new, you could just go ahead and create also this. If you want to implement this, I can just go inside the admin, I create a new stuff or a new folder called mail. Okay, just like this. And let's start like going step by step to see how we can implement this. So you see it has components. You can also go ahead and create components, page, and all that. So for instance, go ahead and create page. Inside the mail, page.tsx, and you can just say RFC. You said just add some things here. So inside the mail, one more time, you can also add components. This is acceptable if you want, but you can migrate these components later on in another place. But you can just have mail and then you have components inside it. So in the page, of course, that is the whole starting point. Okay. So when you go in the page, they have this whole mail structure done here. Okay. For instance, they have this layout, cookies, dot get, react resizable panels, blah, blah, layout, cookies, dot get, and they're getting cookies from next headers, blah, blah. And the most important thing, you see that when you see here, they have an image, and then they have this mail component. Okay, you can see they have this mail component, and I think this is the one we are interested in, the mail component. It has the accounts. Okay, you can see it has the accounts, which comes from app examples mail data. And so it's just like getting these very well. Let's go ahead and copy this. For instance, this mail, just going to copy this component, and you can just go ahead and return inside this. Let's add this mail. Okay, so first of all, we don't have the mail itself, so you can just go ahead and start like one by one getting one of these things. The first one, you see they have accounts, mails, the layout they are using, and all these whole things. So you can first get the dependencies. Okay, you can first get the dependencies. So first of all is the accounts. So you see like the accounts and mails are coming from mail in the data. Okay, so they are getting these from the data. So you can just go and ahead and create the data. You can see if you just go back to examples, in fact, inside the mail, you see we have this data.tsx. So you can just copy this, Control A, and you can just go in your mail and let's create data.tsx, data.tsx, and paste this just like that. And next, you can also go to mail. Let's create this use mails. This is, I think, a hook. So you can just go here and you can see they're also getting things from the data. Okay, and when you're just getting this, I'm just going to say Control A, Control C, and this is the use mail.ts. So I'm just going to create that inside this mail, new file, and say use mail.ts. Okay, this is just a hook. And now the first thing is you can remove this. Okay, and now you can just go ahead and first of all, you're just going to, what are we getting from here? We're getting mail and mails. They are all coming the data. So for the mail and mails, let me just put this. So for the mail, get from data, and for so the mails get from data. Okay, so what we don't have here, make sure you don't have the green. So they have Jotai. Okay, so Jotai, you have now see that they're using Jotai, and what you just normally see, you just come and say Jotai. What is Jotai? Okay, so you can see Jotai is a primitive and flexible state management for React. So you can see they are actually using Jotai for managing this. Okay, so Atom, and use Atom from Jotai, and you can just go ahead and install Jotai. So if I click here on Jotai, actually me personally haven't used Jotai. I think it's something I hear people saying it is really nice, and it's something you can just say. So just go ahead and install Jotai. And that's why I was telling that this one can actually get advanced. So npm install Jotai. Okay, and this is just like to say you just simply need to get rid of all these errors you have, and now we don't have any errors in the use mail. We still have these so now we can get, for now, let's go back to the example git. We are on git, guys, don't forget. Now go back to mail. Okay, we created data, we created use mail and page. Okay, so on page we actually go to these component accounts and mails. So accounts and mails, they are coming from data. So we can just first get that. So click on this, get from data, the mails, get from data. So where does this default layout and default collapse come from? Okay, so just go ahead and see. So where is this default layout? So if you see in the default layout, let's go and see where this default layout comes from. So you see default layout is equal layout or json.pass layout.value, or else is undefined. So it is layout. If layout is true, then you pass layout.value, and then this, and even the same thing to collapsible. Now let's look at layout. So they again got here, they got these layouts. We can just copy this and add them in the page, and we see so far which errors do we have. So get the cookies. The cookies are from next head, just like this. And so far we have now only one component missing, which is the mail. So if you look at the mail, is coming from the components. So you just go ahead and in the components, let's go ahead and add some things. So in the examples, okay, I just go examples just in mail components. So you just look at how many components do we have. So we have all these components, and you're just going to simply add one by one. So we have the nav mail dot, so just have in the components, you can just go ahead and say nav dot tsx. Then we have mail dot tsx. Okay, then we have mail list dot tsx. So we have mail list. mail list dot tsx, and then finally you have mail display. So we have mail display, mail dash display dot tsx, and then I think finally we have the account switcher. So we have account switcher, and just say here account switcher .tsx. So we have all these components that is making up all this. I can start one by one. Okay, I can just like right click this in a new tab. Okay, I can simply just Control A. Okay, so just do this in account switcher. Then we just need to see the red lines. Which red lines do we have? So for instance, they want the select. They're using the select. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and install the select component. And I think that's the only one we need to install, the select component. So just go ahead and let's bring the last command we did, which is this. Let me remove, and I'm just going to say add select, just like this. Install the select, and instead of getting these, we're just going to get these at, okay, at components. So we just get this at components and UI select. So we just get this from this. Now account switcher is sorted. You see, we have no errors. Then go ahead now to the next, which is the mail display. So also just simply Control A and just go to mail display, add this, and let's look at the red lines. So we have so many red lines, and it's just because they're using a lot of things. So they're using date fn. Okay, so we can just first go ahead and add this date fn. So that fn is another library, and this is how you actually get the libraries they are using. Okay, so if you just look at this, that fn is another library. You can just go ahead and install this. You could just say that fn, actually npm. If you just want, just say npm, npm that fn, just like this. If you are, it's very easy to get from npm than going to documentation. So you can just go ahead and copy this, and let's add date fn, and this is a library for manipulating dates. Okay, and you see everything is from date fn, and after that you see that we need to import the drop down menu content, and we have the drop down menu already installed. So we just only just change the this to come from at components UI drop down menu, because we already have this one installed. So the same thing, we need to install avatar, button we have, calendar we don't have. So just install some of these. So for the button we have, so I'm just going to say add components. Okay, we have already the button installed, I guess. Yeah. So we don't have the calendar. So let me just add these other ones. Drop down menu we already have. So just go here and add components. Drop down menu we already have. Like what else? Label we don't have label. Pop over we don't have separator. Switch text area. Okay, then these examples data for the mail data we already have that. Okay, I can just simply do this and just simply go to mail here. Okay, you just get this from the data. Come on. Okay, just from the data. Okay, that one is great. And these other things. So they just go and add these other components very fast. Of course, we took on a serious component and that's what it takes. So I'm just go ahead and add calendar, for instance, calendar, and then avatar. So just avatar. Okay, what else? So just go up here. So we have avatar, calendar, label. So just add label. And then we have pop over, pop over. Then we have separator, separator, just like that. Then we have the switch, and then we have text area, text area. I think that's it. Then we have tooltip, tooltip, tooltip. Let me see, tooltip. Okay, and I think that's it. I think those are the components we need. Just go ahead and install this. Okay. So now as we're installing them, we have to change where they are coming from. For theirs, all the components come from registry. Now I can select this registry New York. I'm just going to say Control F, Control H, and I want to replace this with components. Components, just like this. So that comes from components. Okay, at components, then UI, blah blah. So it is installing all this. Let's give it some short period. You will see that it is installing one by one. You see now the yellows are reducing, and for your information, that FN we are sorted, or the yellows or the reds are gone. Okay, the components we still have few installing switch, done, text area, and tooltip. Let's go down here. So this side they still have. Okay, so all these are done. So we have a few red lines. For instance, this format is not callable type of this. I don't know why these ones are not, because the format, I think all these ones are coming from this. This was the format, next days. I think these ones are okay. These ones will actually work. Okay, so now we go to the next, which is I think mail list. So go back here, and this the components. I'm just going to go back here. So we have mail display. So we go back to the mail list. So just going to copy this, Control C, and this is for the mail list. So just go to the mail list, paste this, and this one has also some red, and you're just getting replaced where we have this Control F and Control H, replace with components. So most of these ones we have them installed, except the scroll area. Separator is there, so just go ahead and add the scroll area. So remove all these ones. Just add scroll area. Okay, and then we have the mail. This one is coming from the data, so you can't just say simply for the mail. I'm just going to, and also this is from use mail. So just get these two, the mail from data, and then the use mail, this one from use mail, and finally we have the format. This comes from the date fn. Sorry, this should come from date fn, and it is here, I guess. To now, did I just like put a new thing here? Okay, so this is actually there from that. Okay, so I think that was the only error. And now I'm just going to go to another component, which is mail. So just get this, copy, go to mail, and let's paste this. So just look at this. The first thing is changing this, where we are importing the inputs, the components. So let's replace registry, New York, Control F, Control H. So replace. So we have this. Now we don't have resizable. I'm just going to add that. Just add resizable. Resizable. Just like this. Okay, there was also tabs. Let me see, scroll down. So we have tabs. We have tabs. And do we have anything else? No. Just add tabs. Tabs. Okay, so let's see account switcher. We have this. We can just go ahead and get the account switcher. Where are we using account switcher? So account switcher, we already have it. Okay, so we have the mail display, mail list, use mail. So can also just go ahead and comment this use mail. So use mail is here. Okay, so then we have mail, the type mail, which is I think here. This type is defined in the data. And then let's go ahead and say this nav. I think we don't have nav yet. Okay, so you can just go ahead and first put nav. So just go ahead and put nav. So copy this, Control C. Let's go to nav. Okay, and let's also go ahead and replace this. Control F, Control H. We are replacing it with components, and also this Control F, Control H. Okay, so we already have these ones, and I don't think we have any problem with this. So let's go back to the mail. So we have the nav. We can just get this from nav. So go to where they used nav. Where do we have nav? Here. Okay. Next one is mail list. So we already have the mail list. So just go see why we're using mail list. Where is the mail list? Mail list, mail list. So mail list is here. Get the mail list. And we still have mail display. We also have the mail display. So just go here. I think it is down here. Mail display. Get the mail display. Okay, so down here we have this on collapse. I don't know why this one is now showing this void. To type that, we're just going to first leave this. Okay, so all the other problems we have, they are about time. Okay, so let's first make the first attempt to get this mail from mail, just like this. Okay, and Let's see the errors we have. You can just go ahead and, by the way, remove all these. Okay. And we have still only this one for on collapsed, and say it is collapsed. This, that is the problem we have, I guess. But let's just give first attempt, and we go to get this page right now. I'm just worried about the layout, but these resizable panels, I think, is the only thing we are going to have issues with. Let's go to our app, and I'm just sort of dashboard. I'm just going to say mail. Was it mails or emails? Let me just say it is mail. So just say mail, go to this. Let's see what we have. And this was a serious component, and wow, guys, look at this. Wow, this looks nice. So we have it exactly the way it is from the docs and from the GitHub. This is really amazing. I love it. Look at this. It was really a lot of amount of work, but it is worth it. Everything is working the way it should, and this is really, really nice. I think us traversing through this GitHub repo together, seeing how I was getting everything, how I was installing the packages required, I think, guys, you have learned a lot of concepts. Okay, and this is how you can get an example, and that's why you put this under advanced, because as clearly you can see, it is more hard than even getting the blocks. Okay, so the examples is really more advanced, more especially if you are adding like an advanced component like the one we did. Okay, so this is really, really great, and at least you have learned. So you can just go ahead and try adding a dashboard, adding cards, all these ones you can add them. Okay, so this is really great, really, really great. Okay, so let's just go ahead to the last one. Okay, and also the last one, as you can see, the Shadcn native components is also in advanced. Okay, so we have already covered one serious advanced concept, which is getting the Shadcn examples into your app. Right now, let's just go ahead and see how you can just do the native components. And what do I mean by native components? So what I mean by native components, there are some components you will see on Shad, but they don't actually have them in their either examples, or they don't have them in the components. So for instance, so when you go here and you want to use their navbar exactly the way it is, there is nowhere they have this navbar either in examples or in the components. They don't have their navbar. And for instance, another, give you a simple example. You want to use this hero section. Look at this hero section, looks amazing, and you would wish to use this in your examples. Okay, you would want to use this one as a component. Okay, for instance, you'd want to use this. I'm just going to show you finally how you can also use this this nice thing. Look at this. This is so clean and so nice. You would wish you could put this in your app. And at the end of this video, I'm just going to show you how to put this amazing search with this command um, to work in your app. So just tighten your seatbelt. We are just starting. So let's first start with a simple one. How would I want actually put this hero section from Shad, but it is neither in the components nor the examples. So this is a native. They created it for their own. They want to use it on their own. They are not giving this the public to go and use. But actually, you can just use it. Okay, because if you just want to see where this is located, you can just see that when we go to themes, for instance, they have a different this hero section, meaning this is changing like its own component. You can see introducing blocks, You got examples introducing blocks with some other text. Of course, GitHub is GitHub. We don't need to go that side. So let's just go back to GitHub. Okay, and we look for this component. So I'm just going to go to examples. So I'll go to GitHub. Let me close up this. Now just go to examples. Okay. So when you just go to examples, scroll down. First of all, let's first check in the layout. What is in the layout? So when you just check in the layout or on these examples, you can see this. Okay. For instance, you have this container relative, they have page header, and then they have this announcement, and then on the announcement they have page header heading. Like for instance, check out some examples. Can we first see that? Check out some examples. Okay, that's nice. So it means we're in the right place. Okay, just go here. Then there's page header, examples, page header description, and page actions. And then in the actions, they passed these ones. Okay, I would want to have something like this, and this is in the page header. Clearly, you can see this is in the page header. So we would want to actually get this, okay, working. So how do I do this? I'm just going to go ahead and also copy the page header. So if you just see they have this container and then relative, I can just go ahead and copy this exactly the way it is, page header, just like this. Right click, copy, and just going to put in container relative. So I can just go in my components here and create a new hero.tsx. And then in this, I'm just going to say RFC, just like this. Then this one I can just give it a class name of, I think it was having relative container. Okay, just like this, and then inside let's paste this. Okay, so here we have a lot of airlines. The first one we need is the page header. So where is this page header? So we start adding one by one. So if you just look at page header, so most of these ones, page actions, page header description, page heading, they come from components page header. Okay, so we need, just going to duplicate this. Okay, and I'm just go to this components, and I'm just going to be looking for the page header. So just go to app, components, where can we get the app layout? Where are their components? Let me just first click on this. So components, and we are looking for the page header. So just scroll down to P. So we have page header, just like this. Okay, I'm just going to simply copy everything like this. I'm just going to get to create this page header. So inside the hero section, so I might just go ahead and put in components, create a new folder called hero. Okay, and then in the hero, let me drop this hero. Then inside this hero, I can just say page header .tsx, and let me paste all this. Okay, so in here you see they're using typography. So this is typography, and wait, okay, this is the one we want. Okay, so they are just import balance from React Wrap Balancer, and you can just select these are the things I like, because while you're implementing this, you actually see new npm packages you have never seen. For instance, we have this React Wrap Balancer, so I would want to go and see this. So what I just normally do is copy this, Control C, and go and just say this npm. Okay, and we have React Wrap Balancer. Okay, and you can just read about it, but they are just giving you what it does here, balancing, blah blah, and it is a popular one. I'm just going to go ahead and install this. Okay, just like this. Okay, so that one is installed, and I think that's the only red line we have. Otherwise, we are good. And we could just go ahead in the hero and bring this page header. Okay, page heading, I guess, and then page description and page actions, I guess, page actions. Of course, the link, let's get the links from next link. And then of course, this CN, you're just going to see that one in a second. So we are only remaining with announcement and then these button variants. And let's go back to, they must be having these, the CN, they don't. They just go back while you copied this. So inside here, this this is layout. So in the layout, they have CN. So we can just first get this. Okay. Just get Control C, the CN. Remember, this one is there, I guess. Already in the lib, they create lib and they have utils. We already have that. So it should be good to go. Now, what else do we have? Announcement. We're just going to get that in a second. Now we have these button variants. Do they have button variants? Import button variants. Okay, so this comes from the button, which is very easy. We already have the button. So just move up here, just like this, from add component. So this one, just add components, just like this. So now we are remaining with only announcement. So what do we have in the announcement? Just simply go back here and I can click on components, announcement here, and simply copy whatever is inside, Control A, Control C, and let's create announcements. It is announcement actually. So just go in the components. Let me just create announcement, announcement, announcement.tsx. Paste everything here, and let's see if we have red. So we have the separator. We already have a separator. So just replace with components. Then here they are getting this, the arrow right icon from Radix. We just use this from, so this arrow right, we can just get this from Lucid. Okay, as simple as that. This should work from Lucid. Yeah. So just go back to the hero and let's get the announcement. Okay, so we have this. Now let me just go to, for instance, in any of these pages, for instance, what should I put? Let me just create another inside the front. So inside the front, new page. Let's just say about page, about Okay, then inside about, let me just create page.tsx, page in the about. Let me create page.tsx, rfc, and then just go ahead and bring the hero. So just say hero. Okay, just like this. Okay, so let's just go and check this out. So duplicate this one more time, and let's go to the about. Okay, just like this, about, and look at this. So we have this hero section, and the good thing with the hero section is that you can customize it. You see everything is customizable if you look at the hero section. Okay, so everything is customizable. For instance, we can pass in the headings, we can pass in these paragraphs. I can go ahead and customize this entirely, and I use it in various places. Okay, and this was not okay, and this was not, just put the back this one, and then one just create this comments. Can I drag this back here? Okay, so this was entirely nice. We just got this hero section from shared native components. Like this wasn't shared component being exposed, like they didn't give this as a component or as an example. We just simply went their documentation and tried to do the reverse engineering, and we got this working. Okay, that is really amazing. And doing so, you just learned a lot of for instance, this package React wrap balancer would have not actually got it, and this is the one which is balancing this. Okay, which is just like this one. You see, it is exactly the same. Okay, so the last one we just want to look at, of course, is the search component. Like this is really, really cool. I wish like you put this to your app. This would be really absolutely amazing. Okay. So we could just like put that, or we could also just take it one more step further and we put the entire nav bar. Okay. You look at this nav bar. This is so cool, man. Like this is really good. Look at this. Look at this. You have this working. Okay. Having this search opening like in this format. This is really nice. Okay. So can we just go ahead and take it one more step further and try to see how to add this nav bar to our project, okay? And it has all this stuff, and it has also our search that we are looking at, okay? So this is typically just going to go to their GitHub. Excuse me. So they just go to their GitHub as usual, and let's see where we're going to start from. So I'm just going to start from, I would expect this to be in the layout. Okay. So I'm on the app. Now there is this examples. I don't think it is in the examples layout. Let's first go to actually the app. Let's just go to just app here, and we see. So in this app, you see there is this layout. There is examples. Most of these blocks, what they have their own layouts, but then there is this normal layout, the big one, this one, okay? And you can see they have the site header, okay? And then they have the site footer. And if you just look at the footer, site footer, they are trying to mean is actually this one. So the site footer is really easy. I'm not going to work on that. Let's go and look at how to add the site header. Okay, so I'm just going to close this. So we're interested in the site header, and you can see the site header is in the component site header. Okay, so the first thing, I'm just going to go ahead and create this site header, and we can use it in the layout. So let me just go to the site header. Just go to components and let me create a new one called site header.tsx. Okay, site header.tsx. And let's go and see what we can add in the site header. Just simply go to component site header and add everything. So I'm just going to go in the components, and we are looking at the S site header. Scroll down to the site header here. Okay, so the easy one is copying everything, Control C, and pasting it in here. So it will be having a lot of things that we already have or we don't have. The first one, you see the CN, we have it. Now the command, for instance, you see components, command menu, components, icons, components, main nav, mobile nav, mode toggle. Now the mode toggle, we actually have it. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Go to where there is mode toggle and get this. Okay, get that, and we now have the variants. We already have the variants for the button, so also just put this here, components. Okay, nice. So now let's start adding one thing at a time. So you can start with the config. Okay, so you see at config site, we just have the configurations for the site. So let me just go back. Okay, and I'm just going to duplicate this to easily navigate throughout this. So let me just go to the config, and this config is in the www. Let's go here. Uh, Inside the config, it must be either outside here, config, actually maybe in the app here. Let's see. Excuse me. So config, and we have site. So it is site.ts. Just copy this, Control A, Control C. Okay, and just go and create this config, then site. So I'm just going to go in my app outside. Okay, and let's create config, new folder called config. And inside the config, I'm just going to put site.ts, site.ts. And inside here, let's paste this one. And this one is giving the name, URL, OG, everything they're using, they are putting it in here. Of course, this is a nice way of doing things. And by the way, as you're doing all this, you're just learning the architecture of how they do the app. For instance, all the data metadata that is going to be used in the app, they put it in the config, which is really nice. So now we can just go to site header, and now we have the config, site config, and it is already rectified. The next one is the command menu, and actually this command menu is the one for the search. I want to do that one maybe last. Let me just go to the icons, components, icons. That is more easy. So going back, I just go to components, icons. So this is under I. Just go to where are we right now? Which components are we in? Components, icons. Where is I? Fi. So we have icons.tsx. Just copy everything. This is why they are putting their SVGs. So you say icons.tsx. So I'm just going to go to components and create a new one, icons.tsx, and paste everything here. And let's see if we have any red line. We don't. Okay, so go in the site header, and go to these icons. I'm just going to go add components icons, and why, yeah, so it is already rectified. Now let's go to the main nav and the mobile nav. So they are also coming from components main nav. Okay, so I'm just going to go to components, then we have main nav. Okay, just copy everything, Control C. Let's go and paste it in the main nav. So components main nav, main nav dot tsx. So we have the main nav and it only wants the badge. So just add the badge from the components. So just add here components, just like this. And that's the only thing it wanted. And so just go back to the site header and add these. The main nav is already sorted. Now we need the mobile nav. So just go in the components. Let's create the mobile nav. So mobile nav dot tsx, and let's just go to mobile nav, copy everything and paste it in here, and we have everything. I guess we need docs config from config docs, so just go and add that. So where we got this config, that was also docs. So in the docs, copy everything just like this. Let me just go and create this docs in the config. So just go in the config and let's create a new one called docs.ts, and inside let's paste this, and let's see if we have any red line. We have the types. So you see import nav, main nav site, and from types nav. So let's create the types. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and create another one, which is a new folder, which is going to be types. Okay. And then inside that, I'm just going to create nav.ts. So nav.ts. And let's go ahead and add the types for that. So if you go to types, so down here, somewhere we have the types. And inside the types, we have so many types, but let's go to nav. Copy everything, Control C, and let's paste it in the nav, just like this. Now, so if you just go back the docs, let's get this from the main nav. Let me just first get this. So main nav from types, and this side from types. Great. So we have this one sorted. And now we can just go to components, and we are on the mobile nav, which actually wanted for this. You can see the icons are sorted, registry button. So we have this here, Control A, Control H, replace it with components, and the mobile nav has only one red, which is this vertical view vertical. So you could go also ahead and install Radix UI icon if you don't actually. So most of these Radix icon actually they are there in the Lucid. So I will just go and look for where this is by saying Control F, search for it down here. This view vertical, are they using it anywhere? It seems like the view vertical, they're not using it anywhere, according to here. Because if you see it, it is not being used. I could just comment this out, just like this, and we have no problem. Go back to site header. Now, the only remaining thing we have now is the command menu. Okay, so it is in components, command menu. So if you just go to components, command menu, so go back to components on top here, components, and let's see the command menu just here. Copy everything. So just go in command menu, copy everything, Control A, Control C, command menu. So just go ahead and create the command menu in the components, command dash menu dot tsx, and paste everything in here. So just look at the reads we have. The first one is radix icons. So since they're using out of radix, it would be better actually installing the radix. So let me just go ahead and install radix. Now you could just go and change these. Really, all these radix icon, you don't have to install radix. If you don't have, you could just go one by one and change them into Lucid, because they can all be gotten from Lucid. Okay, but I'm just going to go ahead and install also radix. Okay, so if you want to see the npm of it, of course, just go ahead, paste it in the browser and add npm. As simple as that. This will give you the package name and how to install it. Just go ahead and install radix. So just install radix like so. This would take a short period and we have it installed. Okay, great. So now wherever we have the icons for radix, we can leave them and they will work. So now we have the button. Of course, just change this to components. Components just like this, and now we have this from New York UI command. Okay, so we have to actually install the command. I don't know if we had installed this. Let me just remove this and put components. I don't know if we have installed the command. I don't think we have the command. Let's go ahead and install the command. Okay, so I could just go here and say go here and just add command just like this, UI command, enter. Okay, so they're just going to go ahead and install the command. Okay, so now if you just go to this command, for you could just go ahead and look for where that command is in their docs, or just go to examples. Let's go to components. So command is here. Okay, and they have it here actually. Okay, so the command is there. It is a nice search. I leave it, and like that they have this, and we are adding it in this. Let's go back to the code. Okay, so we have it done and we have no errors. Okay, so it's time now to use the site header. Okay, it's time to use the site header. Let me just go ahead and put this actually in the global layout. So on top here, let me just go ahead and use site header. Site header from site header, just like this. And so this is going to plug itself on top here, and let's look at that. And wow, so we have this site header working properly, guys. Let me just go ahead. I think we should put this for the front, because for the back end I think doesn't look nice. We could just also leave it, I guess. Let me just check on all the pages, how they are looking with that site header. Must be the dashboard. Okay, but we're just going to leave it on the front end. Okay, we're just going to leave it in the front end, and just go ahead and leave it in the front. So in this layout, I'm just going to cut this and put it in the layout, in the front layout here. Instead of this nav bar, let's go ahead and add this site header. Let me just actually import this. Okay, so now this is going to change these ones. Look at this, guys. This is so amazing. We have this um working properly, and we can just look at the search. We can, for instance, search something like theming, and we have the theming. Okay, this is really nice. Okay, this is really nice. And let's check out the responsiveness, guys. Let's just check the responsiveness of this. Okay, let's check the responsiveness of this. Wow. So this is responsive. Plus, even the hero section. Look at this, guys. This is nice. And it has even the scroll. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. So this is amazing, I may say. And if you have reached at the end of this video, this is super amazing. You must have learned tons and tons of concepts, and thank you so much for watching and reaching up to this level. And I think if you find this, I'm just going to put this repo. I know how important this repo is. I would say I should supposed to say it, but I'm just going to give it for free. You will find the link to the repo in the description. You can just grab this link and start using it at as a starting point. You have all the complex components into your app. Okay, so if you find this, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share the content with others. Okay, thank you so much. See you in the next video.